Unni asked.
Did Hanuman get the divine herbs, Grandma?
Absolutely. He had such a determination to serve his Lord that he would not return from a mission empty handed. However, a new obstacle had presented itself to him. When he sighted the mighty Rsabha Mountain, he realized that it was going to be very difficult to spot the specific herbs that he had been commissioned to bring back. The mountain was so full of medicinal herbs that it would take days to comb through and locate the plants that Jambavan had asked him to bring. He knew also that he had no time to spare. Thinking quickly, he grew in size. With his massive strength, he uprooted the whole mountain, held it aloft with just one hand, and leapt into the air. Unni was spellbound.
He really lifted an entire mountain.
He exclaimed over and over again. Grandma nodded and smiled. Not only that, but he travelled as fast as lightning. Remember, he was the son of Vayu and could easily match him in speed. He shot forth like a discus and within minutes landed with the mountain in front of Sri Rama. As the air around the mountain was redolent with the fragrance of medicinal herbs, Rama, Lakshmana, and the monkeys who had fainted were revived as soon as the fragrant breeze touched them. He now encountered another problem. If the mountain remained in the battlefield, it would be impossible to kill the Rakshasas, as they would also come back to life when killed. Therefore, the Lord asked Hanuman to restore the mountain to its original location. Hanuman was swift in carrying out the Lord's command. He travelled back to the north and placed the Rsabha Mountain in its original location. Unni had a doubt.
Grandma, when Sri Rama, Lakshmana and the monkeys were revived, the fallen Rakshasas must have also come back to life. Mustn't they?
Oh, Unni, you're such a smart boy. I forgot to mention that Ravana had ordered the bodies of all the dead Rakshasas to be thrown into the sea. So there were no dead Rakshasas lying on the battlefield.
Phew!
Unni exclaimed. Grandma continued. Sugriva decreed that no one should stay outside of the city of Lanka. Most of the Rakshasas have been killed. Destroy the forts and enter the city. Burn the houses and level the wells and moats. The monkeys obeyed his order. They penetrated the forts, burnt the houses, and filled up the deep moats. Once again, Lanka started going up in flames. The city was being reduced to ashes. The Rakshasas and Rakshasis started howling in terror. There was chaos everywhere. Seeing this, Ravana became agitated. Under the command of Nikumba, the Rakshasas set out to war. The monkeys had been greatly energized by the fragrance of the medicinal herbs. They set upon and quickly decimated the Rakshasa forces. Kumbha charged into the battlefield in his chariot, letting fly arrows along the way. Sugriva picked him up as if he were just a feather and flung him into the sea. However, Kumbha swam back to the shores. This time, Sugriva did not take any chances. With his powerful fist, he dealt a blow to Kumbha's chest, and the Rakshasa fell to the ground, dead. Nikumba then charged into battle, but was killed by Hanuman. The remaining Rakshasas fled in terror from the battlefield and informed Ravana of the death of Kumbha and Nikumba. Ravana began to feel frightened. He sent Makarakshasa, a cunning and strong Rakshasa, into the battlefield. Makarakshasa rained arrows of fire down on the monkeys. Seeing that the monkeys were losing their confidence, Lord Rama took Makarakshasa on. The two fought for a long time, a fight between equals it seemed. Finally, Rama used the Agneyastra to kill the brute. Indrajit had returned to his palace after knocking down Sri Rama and the monkey army. When he heard that Rama and the monkeys had been revived and had killed the most able Rakshasas, he became furious. He attacked all the monkeys who had entered Lanka and threw them out. He consoled his father. "Be calm. There is no need for worry." Then he set out again for the battlefield with a huge army under his command. Seeing him advancing, Lakshmana said, "Brother, this conjurer will make himself invisible again and rain arrows down on us, and we will fall unconscious yet again. Why don't you just release the Brahmastra and destroy the whole race of the Rakshasas?" The Lord said, "We cannot use the Brahmastra against those hidden while they are fighting. We should also not use it against those who are not armed. It is against Dharma. Nevertheless, don't worry. We shall defeat Indrajit in battle." Indrajit was looking thoughtful. Suddenly, he returned to Lanka. He conjured up a form of Sita Devi, seated that form beside him in the chariot, and rode into the battleground. Seeing this, even Hanuman became confused, not knowing what to do. Then, in front of all the monkeys, Indrajit severed Sita's head, causing blood to spill everywhere. Hanuman, convinced that Indrajit had murdered Sita Devi, left the battlefield in despair. He informed Lord Rama of what had happened. Sri Rama fainted. Lakshmana and Hanuman tried to revive him. Vibhishana, who was witnessing all this from afar, came to the Lord to reassure him that it had been a trick of the master conjurer, Indrajit. He said, "Indrajit conjured up a form of Sita Devi, Maya Sita. How can anyone destroy Devi? Indrajit is trying to buy time so that he can go into Nikumbila cave to conduct a fire sacrifice. This was just a ruse to buy time." Unni asked his grandmother,
What is Nikumbila?
Nikumbila is a place where sacred fire rituals were carried out. The idol of Bhadrakali in this cave is known as Nikumbila. Indrajit had to be stopped from performing this powerful yajna, otherwise it would be difficult to defeat him. On Vibhishana's advice, Lakshmana, Angada, Hanuman, Vibhishana and the others entered the Nikumbila cave. It was not easy to enter the cave, which was closely guarded by the Rakshasas. The Rakshasas were killed with rocks and trees. Hearing the uproar, Indrajit came out and blocked Hanuman's way. Vibhishana said, "His yajna has been interrupted. Fight him now!" Hanuman lifted Lakshmana onto his shoulders so that he could attack Indrajit. Lakshmana started releasing arrows. Indrajit retaliated fearlessly. When he saw Vibhishana, Indrajit shouted, "How can you join our enemies and destroy the Rakshasa race?" Vibhishana answered him calmly, "I am trying to save our race by serving Sri Rama. On the contrary, you are determined to destroy each member of our race." A fierce battle followed. Indrajit's arrows made deep wounds in Lakshmana's body. Nevertheless, Lakshmana fought on, destroying Indrajit's chariot and killing his horse. With the aid of powerful magic, Indrajit withdrew and returned in an instant with a new chariot and charioteer. The fierce fight lasted 3 days. On the 3rd day, Lakshmana focused his mind on Lord Rama, let fly the Indrastra, and severed Indrajit's head. The Indrastra sped on towards the sea, cleansed itself of the enemy's blood, returned and slipped back into Lakshmana's quiver. The Devas, sages and celestials were greatly relieved. Lakshmana returned with the monkeys and prostrated in front of Sri Rama, who embraced his younger brother and praised him. "You have performed such a heroic feat, dear brother. Now, unable to bear the pain of his son's death, Ravana himself will finally come out to fight." Thus, Sri Rama, Lakshmana and the monkey army waited for Ravana's arrival. Hearing the story, Unni was thoughtful.
Grandma, Indrajit did not play by the rules when it came to the war. Cheating by using magic was not right. That must be the reason why he was killed, wasn't it?
Grandma nodded. Amma says there are specific rules to be observed when we drive a vehicle on the road. The driver's dharma is to obey the rules. Accidents happen when we do not obey the rules. We must obey the intrinsic dharma to maintain the harmony of the universe. When people use unfair means to win, it seems like they get ahead for some time, but ultimately they undergo great difficulty. Indrajit did not maintain the code of Dharma when it came to the war. He used many unfair means to try and make small gains. That is why eventually he met his end in a terrible way. Let us learn from this never to resort to unfair means to overcome a person or situation in our lives.